Hi everyone, so today we're going to be making turkey meatball and tortellini soup. So first we're going to start with the meatballs. So we're using lean ground turkey here, 1 egg, some finely chopped parsley, and next we're going to add some salt and pepper. And for this recipe I did decide to double the meatballs just so I could freeze some of the extras and be able to make this soup whenever I want pretty quickly. So next we're grating some garlic, and I really enjoy grating garlic instead of chopping it here because that way you don't get any large chunks of garlic in your meatballs. And next we're going to grate in some fresh Parmesan cheese. And I like to save all the rinds for my cheese. You'll see later on in the video that I use a piece of the rind in the soup also. So once you have all those ingredients in, the next thing is going to be some whole wheat breadcrumbs. As you can see here, we're going to use a couple tablespoons of that, and it really just depends on how much ground turkey you have, how much you need to bind your meatballs together, so you may need to add more or less than what I have here. But once you have all your ingredients mixed together, just get in there and start rolling meatballs. Because this is a soup, you just want them to be kind of tiny and bite-sized, but if you prefer larger meatballs that you end up breaking up with your spoon in your soup, then that's fine as well. Make them however you like, or you can do half and half and freeze the larger ones for a different dish. So as you can see here, I have all my meatballs ready, and next we're going to chop up some vegetables. So we have a white or yellow onion, some garlic, some carrots, and celery. So I diced up the onion, chopped up the garlic, diced up the carrots, and I did save all the carrot tops to make some chicken stock at a later time. I just throw those in my freezer with the onion skins, and it makes it really quick and easy when I want to make chicken stock. And we have our chopped up celery there also. So moving over to the stove, next we're going to just add some olive oil into a stock pot that I have preheating over medium-high heat with a little bit of butter. Just going to let that melt a little bit and then add in all my vegetables. I was having a little bit of trouble here not getting everything on my stove, but once we get that all added in there, you're just going to mix that around and cook on medium-high heat until your vegetables start to get translucent. You'll be able to see that here in a minute. Not shown in the video, I did add some salt and pepper here as well. I just want to remember to always season every layer of your dish. So the entire meal is well seasoned, and as you can see here, got some steam coming out. These are nice and soft, and everything is cooking down nicely. Adding a little bit more pepper and a little bit of extra salt here. So next, I had some leftover homemade chicken stock from the last time I made it, so that's what I'm using tonight, but feel free to use whatever you have on hand: vegetable stock, beef stock, chicken stock. I tend to like to use the bouillon powders because they're more convenient, and just mix that with water, but if you have cans of chicken stock, by all means use that as well. Really like homemade stock. You can see it's a nice deep rich color, and it's very flavorful and very easy to make. So next I'm just adding in a can of rinsed cannellini beans. Really you can add any bean here you like, or leave them out if you don't prefer them, but just adds another level of heartiness to your dish. So as you can see, I just added in some Parmesan rinds. We're just going to mix that together and start to drop in our meatballs. You just want to be sure to carefully and gently drop them in the hot soup. You don't want to drop from too far away so the hot liquid splashes up on you, but you also don't want to break them up too easily before they begin to cook a little bit. So just gently drop them in one by one. And really the amount that you add is by preference. Like I said, the size of your meatballs can be whatever size you like. I like smaller ones, but if you want this to be really full of meatballs, then add more or add less depending on your preference. So next, when I go to stir this, again, you just want to be pretty gentle with it and try to stir from the bottom. You don't want to break up any of your meatballs before they cook through. So we're just going to let that cook for a little while, and when we come back here, you'll see that this is boiling away nicely. The meatballs have floated to the top. They're nice and cooked. And next we're going to add in a little bit more salt and pepper, just to make sure that our seasonings are staying up there. It would also be nice if you wanted to add in some additional herbs here. Some thyme or rosemary would go really great in this dish, or even some Italian seasoning if you wanted more of those flavors. I decided to just keep it pretty basic for my dinner this night, but next we're going to add in a couple handfuls of spinach. I love adding spinach into soup. It's just really easy, good way to use up a lot of vegetables, and it cooks down pretty well. And it's pretty flavorless. Even if you don't really enjoy spinach, you can't really taste it in this soup at all. Just add some extra nutrients, so we're just going to stir that around. Let that cook down, and like I said, it cooks really quickly. It only takes a couple minutes to wilt down. And lastly, we're going to add in some tortellini. And I bought some tricolored tortellini here, and again, this is really just based on preference. I started with a cup, and then I added in a couple of additional handfuls of it. What's nice about tortellini instead of regular pasta is that it doesn't continue to soak up all the liquid overnight after you cook it. So you are still left with a brothy soup the next day if you don't overfill your pan with tortellini. So just going to let that cook down, and then we have our final dish here. Hope you enjoy.